Hey guys, I'm going to show you a quick video on how to clean the bolt in a Ruger Mark 22 long rifle pistol. There's a lot of videos out there about how to get the Ruger Marks apart. This is the bolt out of one. I'm going to show you how to clean it and what's important about cleaning that. You can see there are really 4 parts to the bolt assembly. The bolt itself, which is the whole assembly here. Recoil spring, which is the spring riding on top into that connector right there in the bolt. There's the extractor, which is that lever right there. Moves back and forth to extract the spent casing, and then the firing pin, which is right there. The firing pin is one of the critical parts that you need to clean. I'll try to actuate that firing pin right now. It moves back and forth. If you don't get that good and clean, that thing's going to cause a lot of short strokes and misfires. The other critical part about this to clean is this recessed region right here. This is where the casing actually sets. And right in there you get a lot of buildup on the gunpowder fires. The gases all go blowing the bolt back. So you got to clean that real good, otherwise you're going to get a poor seat against the bolt from the casing. You get a lot of buildup in the firing pin. It'll cause a short stroke and you'll get a lot of duds. What you think are duds. Basically it's just a short stroke causing the rim not to get compressed enough and fire the round. So let's talk about how to get this thing apart. You can see this whole thing. The recoil spring's not under any tension. You can just use some kind of screwdriver or whatever, lift this thing right out. You want to clean that real good. But it comes right out. It's all one assembly. It's not under any pressure. So it's not going to shoot across the room. Extractor right there is a little tricky to get out. I wouldn't mess with that if it's got good action. Keep it clean with some compressed air, lubed, and you should be okay. The firing pin is this long slice right through the bolt. Okay. It's kind of a 2-step process to get that out. It's secured with this pin right here. And you really just got to press it forward with one hand. I usually use my thumb, jam it down there, and press that pin out. That pin will slide right out, usually, unless there's a lot of buildup. So you can pull that pin out the other side. Don't let that fall on the floor. And now your firing pin is free. There is a spring under it, but it's not gonna be too much load. So again, just keep your thumb on it, and it shouldn't go shooting across the room either. Lift that thing out, and you begin to see the spring down in there, which is a kind of a 2-piece assembly. It's got a little blade holder. Notice the orientation is it's curved down into the firing pin slot, and the spring there at the back. And that thing will fall right out. And there it is. Don't lose that. Okay. What you want to do is get this good and clean, and this firing pin good and clean, so there's not a lot of buildup causing friction between the pin and the crevice. Compressed air, some solvent sometimes is required. Good brush can get that clean. Make sure that gets good and clean, otherwise, like I said, you'll get a short stroke. So putting this back together, pretty simple. Let's reverse the process. Drop that pin. You just have to orient this into that slot. orient that down into that slot to where it's falling against that strike plate right there. You can kind of see it dips down into that. I'll take your firing pin, of course it's pinned forward, drop it down that slot, and you'll kind of get it to, as you scoot it back, you'll get it to kind of fall down in there a little bit. And what it's got to do is catch that spring right there, catch that spring, and then it starts to load. And again, you can push that forward with one thumb, load that pin back in there, and now your firing pin is back together. You can actuate the firing pin right there and just make sure it moves. After you clean it, it moves forward. Again, clean that. You can see this bolt's got a lot of buildup, so again, I'll clean all that buildup off. Get that crevice particularly clean, so the casing will sit against the bolt, and then the pin will fire. Finally, the recoil spring goes back on. It's not under a lot of pressure, or any pressure really, when you put it back together. So there's the assembled one. I didn't mess with the extractor rather. Just the firing pin, recoil spring, and the bolt goes back in again. Hope this helps.